Chatters, chatties, welcome home for a Great American Chat, a podcast where we chat about great American media. I'm Prince Chad Maurice, and I planned on wearing a crown today, but I forgot my crown. And the reason I was going to wear it is because today we are chatting with the star of Crown Prince of Christmas, Cindy Busby. Cindy, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for decorating your lovely castle behind you just for me. I really appreciate it. This is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now before we get to talk about your latest Royal Christmas movie, I want to talk about you a little bit. I want to talk about little Cindy and where little Cindy originated from.
Oh my goodness. Well, by the way, I have not changed. I still eat like that. I grew up in well, I was born and raised in a little town called Deux-Montagnes, which is just outside of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And then I grew up in a town called Rosemere, and clearly I had a thing for cameras. Loved having my photo taken. I just have some great style right here. I'm into it.
Now, so are you French?
So my first language was French. So my mom is French Quebecer. I think my great grandparents moved to Canada, and so my first language was French until I watched a show called Sesame Street, which is a very famous child learning show in Canada, and or is it in the States too? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's in the States. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I learned English through that, and then I went to English school, and that's my. So my dad is English and French, so I got the best of both worlds, which is pretty cool.
So you must be fluent then in French, right?
I am.
Speak it, right?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
People would probably make fun of me because I have a Quebec accent, but anyone from Quebec would love it, and anyone from France might be like, "Hey, that's different French," but that's fine.
I'm also French, and I wish I would. I can't speak any of it though. I wish I could.
No, but
my grandparents could. My grandparents, all they spoke was French, but my dad never picked it up.
Oh yeah. Well, if you don't have anyone to practice with, it certainly makes it difficult.
Now, tell me, how did you get into acting? How old were you when you started?
Well, I was in school plays. So I started, my first play I ever did was in grade 5, and I played a kitty cat. It was called Alice in Oz. So it was a play of Alice in Wonderland and the Wizard of Oz, kind of a mashup of the characters, which was really fun. And it was a musical. And then after that, I did another play, and then I did all the plays through high school. But I didn't really have my first acting on television, movies, whatever, acting gig till I think I was 19 years old. So I went to theater school, and then I got my first acting gig, and then, kind of slowly added up, and here we are. But yeah, I always had a vision for myself to be an actor and to tell stories. I had no idea how I was going to do it because I didn't grow up in a family that was in the industry at all. And so I thankfully I'm stubborn, and I sort of made it happen for myself somehow with, some help along the way. But yeah, it's been a very amazing and interesting journey for sure.
So you have a degree in what, theater or drama or something like that?
Professional theater. So I did a 3-year program at Dawson College, and then have done about 1 million hours. Pardon me? Yeah, that's in Montreal.
Was that from Canada? Okay. Yeah. So you got your first paid acting gig then when you were probably still in college, when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I was actually. I had auditioned while I was in my second year of college, and you're not supposed to do any acting gigs outside of school because school is so intense. They don't want you missing any of it, which I totally understand because you miss one day and it's like all over. But I took the job anyway. But it was at the end of the year, so I didn't miss it at school. I just missed like an evaluation, like get together thing. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I truly had really no idea what I was doing. Like to be totally honest,
Yeah.
I got on set and I'd never been on a set. I'd done 1 day of background work before that. That was it. And so I was truly
Wow.
like by the seat of my pants, and I wouldn't necessarily want to see that work again. I don't think it was. I've certainly grown a lot since then. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Oh, I got to grill your brain a little bit. Here in the States, there's the union, the Screen Actors Guild is the union here in the States.
Yeah.
Do Canadian actors also have a union or what?
Yeah, they do. It's called ACTRA, ACTRA, and that is
Ah,
all
okay.
over Canada. Yeah, ACTRA. Yep. Been part
Oh,
of it
okay. Okay.
for
But
a
now
while now.
what are you? Are you in like both unions or something? Are you in SAG
Mhm.
and ACTRA too
Yeah,
or what?
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I got you. Now we have to talk about we of course have to talk about unleashing this. Was this the first lead that you got in one of these made for TV movies?
Yeah, Unleashing Mr. Darcy was the first lead I ever got in one of these
Mhm.
rom-coms. And actually it was Ryan's first one too, which I feel like makes it extra special because we were kind of like both new faces to, well, somewhat new faces to the network. And
Mhm.
I don't know, there's something
Mhm.
magic about that entire cast and crew that brought it together, and obviously the dogs. And yeah, it was really cool. And actually, when I auditioned for Unleashing Mr. Darcy, I had brown hair at the time, and I was thinking about going back blonde anyway. And then they asked me, and I was like, okay, great. And so that was like I had just dyed my hair back blonde when I did this movie. But yeah,
Oh.
it was such a cool experience. Like, gosh, it was so much work. And like these movies are so validating and so much fun, but they are so much work and they're intense work for 3 whole weeks. And I've
Mhm.
certainly learned a lot through that first experience. And I mean, geez, when you look at Ryan and I, we've really come a long way since this movie, which is true,
I know.
you know?
Now you talked about getting cast in this. Was this an audition that came through your agent or did someone ask you to audition for it?
Yeah, it came through my agent. I've actually told this story before, but basically, I got the audition. Well, like 2 weeks after. Initially, I helped one of my friends audition for the role of Elizabeth, which I was like sitting opposite her, and I remember thinking like, "Oh, this part is fun. I feel like I could do a good job at this." But as an actor, you always try to help your friends. We're all kind of
Mhm.
like
Oh
a
yeah.
tight acting community, and you help each other out. And so I didn't audition for it. She sent it off, and like probably tons of other people did too. And then I guess like about 2 weeks later, I got a notice from my agent. She's like, they're still looking for this role. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And then I put it on tape. And then I found out like just a couple days later that I got the role. And at the time I was in LA, and I was going back to Vancouver at the time. I still lived in Vancouver. And so I drove back knowing that I was going to do this movie and was like excited and nervous. And it just kind of came at like a divine time for me. I feel like this movie gave me a lot of things that I really needed at the time. So I'm extra close to this project for so many reasons, including personal ones too.
Mhm. Now, what about your friend? Did he get a part in the movie?
No, no, she didn't.
No.
She's still my friend. And, I think it's important. I feel very lucky to have a very good support system around me. And equally, I've auditioned for things that my friends have gotten, and I've auditioned for things that I've gotten that my other
Mhm.
friends have. It's like kind of one of those things where you hope if
Mhm.
you're not going to get it, at the very least, someone you love and that's around
Yeah.
you gets it, and that's just the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I also have to mention Autumn Staples because that's a
Yeah.
fan favorite, and Great American Family has showed that a lot this year.
It
So I
has. I
just,
know it's been
yeah.
it's kind of a like it's one of those movies, again, similar, and it's interesting that you put these two together because they're both magical movies. Like they're, getting to work with Kevin McGarry, and obviously he hadn't
Hmm.
booked When Calls the Heart yet at this point, so he was kind
Right.
of new to, like he'd done a few of these movies
Yeah.
before, but I feel like then When Calls the Heart happened, and then people found this movie, and it just blasted this
Hmm.
movie, and everyone's loved it, and it pulls at a lot of heartstrings because it touches on loss and how to grow out of it. And obviously people love horses, and the scenery is incredible, and it was such a tight knit crew on this. Andrew Simek and Bridget Kinsley, who are a real life married
Hmm.
couple and also, collaborate and create movies together, are so amazingly talented. And they brought us together. And I don't know, there was just a magic formula, and it came together. And, years later, it
Hmm.
actually, Autumn Stables was shot, I think, like 6 months after Unleashing Mr. Darcy. So it was
Oh, okay.
relatively, pretty close.
Hmm. 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 Now you've worked with a lot of Francis Fisher, Steve Martin, Leah Thompson. I have to ask, do you ever get starstruck? Have you ever gotten starstruck with anyone?
Uh yeah. Well, I can say that I've equally been starstruck for all three of them, but I will say, okay, so Frances Fisher, obviously, like her part in Titanic is like none other. It's memorable, it's iconic, it's everything. and
Hmm.
and she's the complete opposite in real life. Like she is the most
Hmm.
loving, hilarious human, and like I love her so much, and I have so many wonderful memories with her. Steve Martin is like on another level, like movie star, where you're just like, what, like how, and actually, Paul Campbell played my husband in this movie before we were both on Hallmark,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and so Steve Martin played Paul Campbell's dad, and so I just remember having moments with Paul Campbell where we would look at each other and be like, how are we in a movie with Steve Martin? Like, what happened? And he like took out his banjo a couple times in the green room. Like, it was just like so memorable. And then Leah Thompson, though, was for me the moment that like was beyond. I like wanted to fall on the ground because I'm such a huge Back to the Future fan. Like, that's like my favorite movie basically of all time. And so getting to play Leah Thompson's daughter, I didn't even know when I auditioned. So when I auditioned for this movie called The Life Interrupted, which was on Lifetime Network, based on a true
Hmm.
story. And so I auditioned for a different part, had a call back, and then I ended up booking the part of her daughter, which I hadn't auditioned for, and was like, and then when I got the role, I was like, okay, great, what's this role? And then I went for my costume fitting. And I in the production office, usually they have a wall of where they put like the photos of the actors playing like what
Hmm.
character. And I
Right.
remember walking into my fitting, looking at the costume designer, and looking at the wall and seeing Leah Thompson, number one, like the role of, and I was just like, I, I'm sorry, is that who's playing my mom? And she's like, yeah, it's Leah Thompson. I was like, what? And I was just, and it was the first day on set was like I felt like I had to pinch myself. I was like in a dream. And then I think it was maybe the second day of shooting where after, the nerves were gone and everything, I told Leah that my favorite movie is Back to the Future and I absolutely love
Hmm.
her. And she was so receptive and open. And she told me so many anecdotes and stories about being on set, and yeah, she was really cool about it, and she said how it was, the best time of her life, and so that was a really special moment for me, and I remember it to this day.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah,
That is really cool.
yeah,
Now
for
I
sure.
know you're good friends with, is it Sarah Smith or Smythe?
Yeah, Sarah Smith, yeah,
Okay.
gosh, we've been
Now
best friends for like 15 years, probably
I
more.
know. I know. Is she auditioned for Unleashing Mr. Darcy?
You know, I don't know. I mean, maybe she did. I'd have to ask her. I actually don't know that for sure.
Okay. Okay. I thought
Sorry,
maybe she was
Sarah.
the one you were talking about earlier.
Oh, no, it
I
wasn't
thought
her. It
maybe she
wasn't
was the
her.
one. It
No,
wasn't
but,
her. Okay. Okay.
yeah, but
But
I
I
do
I gotta
remember
say, what?
no, that we got to work together on Cedar Cove, which was the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Now I got to say, I just saw her a few days ago in a Lifetime Christmas movie. She played Jane Seymour's daughter. I mean, how
I
fun was that
know.
for her?
Yeah, Christmas Spark. Yeah, no, she had a
Yeah.
fantastic time, and as Sarah is a mom now, so it's so cool to see her, juggle work and mom life. It's just so inspirational, and she had such a great time on that movie, and it's such a
Yeah.
cool story, and to see Jane Seymour and like take on those kind of like roles again and bring them back together is
Uh-huh.
really it's yeah, no, she had a wonderful time. I'm really happy for her. It
Yeah.
was a big movie to be a part of.
Yeah, yeah. I saw her on there and I said, "Hey, that's Cindy's friend. I know her."
Yes,
So I had to ask about that.
totally.
Now, speaking of Lifetime, you've done a few Lifetime movies yourself. The Wrong Stepmother. I love this title. My Husband's Killer Girlfriend. I love that title.
You don't know, you don't want to say that 10 times.
So, do you have a preference? Do you like doing these thrillers, or do you like the romantic dramas?
I mean, I like it all. As an
Yeah.
actor, you want to exercise different muscles, different types of characters.
Hmm.
Obviously, I love a rom com. I love comedy. I love watching rom coms, so I love being a part of them. And I know how much the fans are just so in love with these types of movies. But Lifetime movies have been so fun, especially when I can play the bad guy. Like that's really
Yeah.
for me. And
Yeah.
but yeah, getting to play, My Husband's Killer Girlfriend, that was kind of like a marathon movie. There was like constant me running and pushing people and getting out of the way. And then The Wrong Stepmother, well, I was a real catch in that one. I was quite opposite to any of my other movies. And then The Killer Downstairs was cool because I got to play with my friend Marcus Rosner, who we
Oh.
had done an episode of a show years ago called The Secret Circle, where we played husband and wife for an episode, and that was actually his like first big show that he'd done. So it's been incredible
Hmm.
to see his career just blast off and do all that stuff. But yeah, it's fun. I love dabbling in all kinds of
Yeah.
things. I think that's the beauty of being an actor is you don't typically just do one type of thing, which I've been very fortunate to have
Hmm.
the opportunity to do.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to play the villain in
Oh
one of those
yeah,
Lifetime movies. Yeah, I
absolutely.
think that'd be a blast. Now let's talk Christmas movies. Now, do you prefer the romantic Christmas movies or the non-Christmas movies, the ones that occur in the during regular season?
I mean, I like them all. I'm genuinely a lover of Christmas. Like I love Christmas at my house. I put up my Christmas tree like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Like it was, I get
Yeah.
very excited about Christmas. So for me, it's
Hmm.
not. And I think that there's a lot of nostalgia around Christmas. People feel kind of a coziness and getting together
Hmm.
with their families and eating treats and doing all the things. So yeah, I don't think I have a preference, but I definitely think there's something extra special about Christmas movies that people love. So yeah, whatever gets people excited
Hmm.
about the
Yeah,
movie,
I think
love that.
yeah, I think it'd be fun to walk on set and see all the decorations.
Oh yeah, it is a
I think,
Christmas
yeah.
explosion. Like it's like truly, I mean,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
feel like set decorators don't get enough like praise because the amount of work they do is truly beyond. Like it's so
Hmm.
much work, and they're
Hmm.
constantly moving stuff around because every frame has to be filled with Christmas. So it's like you're moving trees and lights, and there's certain
Yeah.
things, rules with Christmas decorations, how you're supposed to put them, colors you can use, etc. So it's a formula for sure that you have to follow, and it's fun to see, and I find it quite inspiring because sometimes I get really good ideas of like, oh, I should do this in my house, or like, oh, this is a good idea, or like, oh, this is like an antique. Awesome. Yeah.
Now, Joy for Christmas, you filmed that. That was for last year's Great American Christmas. So
Yep,
when
that's
you
right.
were making that, did you know that it was going to wind up on Great American Family?
I did know. I did know at the time that it was. And yeah, it was, any opportunity that I have to work, as an actor, it's a job, that you get paid for, and you get excited to work with such incredibly talented people. And Sam Page is certainly one of them. Like, we had such a great time on set. I got to shoot up in Vancouver, so I always love going back to Vancouver to shoot and see all my friends. And there's so many. I've done so many of these movies now that it's such a blessing to get to work with some people that I've already worked with before, or getting to work with new people. So yeah, it was great to just make a movie and have and it aired on another network, which is awesome.
Now, generally, when you're making these, you generally don't know what network they're going to be on, right? You don't know whether they're going to Up TV
It,
or Lifetime or who,
It
right?
depends. So some of them are like Godwin Christmas Meant for Love was a Hallmark original
Right,
movie. So that one was
right.
Hallmark. So
Hmm.
usually other movie like Christmas Cupcakes and A Puppy for Christmas, those were what you would call like acquisitions. So like a
Hmm.
production company will make the movie, fund it, and then sell it to a network. So Christmas
Right,
Cupcakes and A Puppy for
right.
Christmas were, and then I believe those aired on Up
Hmm.
TV. Um, and then
Hmm.
sometimes in Canada it's on Heart and Home, and or the W
Hmm.
Network is a lot of times where it airs in Canada. So yeah, like similarly to Lifetime,
Hmm.
Up TV. I'm just like, I'm super grateful again to just have an opportunity to tell stories and be an actor and to make a living out of it. I feel really grateful to be in this wonderful position, and most of all to give some great
Yeah,
movies to the fans, and work with awesome people.
yeah. Now I got to say, I watched Christmas Cupcake. I saw it again for the second time a couple weeks ago, and I'm telling you, you and Erin are so good as sisters in that movie.
uh, we loved, so Aaron and I didn't really know each other before we started shooting this movie, but we have the same agency. We're part of the same agency up in Canada, and so we met actually on the plane to shoot this movie, and we had never talked before. And so we met, and we were sitting diagonal from each other. And I remember we started like talking, and then the guy who was sitting between us was like, "Hey, do you want to switch spots with me? And then you guys can just talk together and sit next to each other." And we're like, "Awesome." And then we sat next to each other and we just talked like literally the entire 3-hour flight to Edmonton, which is where we shot this movie. And we've honestly been friends ever since I saw her a week ago, and she's just become a really dear friend of mine, and I we had such a blast shooting this movie. And this movie is, there's some love aspects to it, but it's really more of like a family movie, two sisters. And that's one of the things that I love the
Hmm.
most about it is the sister connection in this movie is like the main storyline, and I think that makes it a little
Hmm.
bit different than a lot of other Christmas movies.
Hmm. Hmm. And I love the actor that played your uncle.
Oh yeah, Fulvio. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's so
yeah.
awesome. What a great. If you look up that guy's resume, he's got like, I mean, he's been working forever. He's so incredibly talented.
Hmm.
Yeah, we really got lucky with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now let's talk about a couple of your Royal movies. So you were in a Christmas in Royal Fashion and Royal Hearts with James Brolin. How cool was it to work with James?
Oh, I mean, speaking of, working with legendary humans, like he's one of them for sure. So this is an interesting story because I found out about Royal Hearts when I was driving from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles. And I was like, I think I had just entered Nevada. And I got a call from my agent and my manager. They're like, "Hey, so we got an offer for you. Could you go to Europe today or tomorrow?" and shoot a movie. And I was like, I'm sorry, what now? And so I was like, okay. And I had to, so I was like, okay, let me just like figure out my life for a minute and I'll call you right back. And so I figured out my life for 10 minutes and I called them back and I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, but I can't fly out till tomorrow. And they're like, okay, great. And so I got into LA, I think it was like mid-afternoon, unloaded my car, like basically repacked my suitcase and then left the next morning for Romania where we shot this movie. And let me tell you, this movie is definitely in my top movies I've ever done. I had the most incredible time. It was also my first time in Europe, so it was like mind blowing, and getting to work with Andrew and everyone was just, it was such an incredible cast and we were so tight. And yeah, he's amazing. He's hilarious. Like there's nothing more I can say other than like he is legendary. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Now, when you're given such short notice to be on set, how do you memorize the script so fast?
I mean, so I flew out the next day, but I had 2 days of like prep, thank goodness. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the brain is quite the muscle where like the more you memorize lines, the more easily they enter your brain. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I do it sometimes, to be totally honest with you. Sometimes it's just like a race, you know, it just happens. And thankfully I, take good care of myself. So maybe that helps too. But like anything, it's like going to the gym. The more you lift weights, the stronger you get, etc.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about memorizing lines too.
Yeah. What I like about this movie is it's not your typical royal movie where you're falling in love with a prince and you don't know he's a prince. Because in this movie, James inherits a castle and a royal title. I mean, he's the royalty.
I know. It was such a
Yeah.
James Brolin was, in real life, he's kind of a cowboy too, and so it wasn't
Uh-huh.
far-fetched for him. But the one-liners he brought to set every single day, and he also directed this movie as well. So he had like a huge double.
Oh, that's
duty.
right.
He directed this, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's just a gem. I don't know how he directed and acted in it. It was just when you talk about memorizing lines, it's just like, I'm like, I don't even know how I can get through doing my role, let alone doing two roles like that. But thankfully he had
Yeah.
a really strong crew to help him out. So that's huge.
Yeah, it has to be tough directing when you're in the scene, directing the other actors when you're in the scene with them,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, thankfully we love and respect him so much that we were willing, we were taking on anything he would give us. But he had a really great first AD, which typically you have to have if you're, in the movie as well. You need someone who's going to kind of man the ship when you can't, aka
Yeah.
when in the scene and on camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Crown Prince of Christmas. Explain, how did you get cast for this movie?
Well, thankfully, I because of the world that I'm a part of through these movies and having done a Christmas movie last year, I feel very grateful that they offered me this opportunity to be a part of this movie, and I said yes. And one of the big parts of me saying yes for this was obviously I was grateful to have a job. And then also I had the opportunity to sing in this movie. And to me, that was kind of a little bit of a bucket list thing to do. And so we shot this movie in Buffalo, New York, which I'd never been to. Go Bills. And but yeah, it was so fun. And Jalone Vanover, my co-star, he is so unbelievably talented. Like this guy's resume speaks for itself. And we got along so well. And, we were part of this movie that was shot very quickly and, was very ambitious. And we just had so much fun and we had such a great crew. And we just worked our little Christmas butts off. And we created magical and beautiful. And so I'm really excited for people to see it. I feel like our connection on camera is incredible, and it's really palpable, and like we had just such a great chemistry. And yeah, the story, it's a royal story. It's Christmas. It's kind of, a guy pretending to be a normal guy but really is a prince. But in a lot of ways, it's so much more than that. It's about finding ourselves and getting over our own fears, whether, we're a regular person from New Jersey or we're a prince from, a faraway land.
Now,
and
what
and that's the tale of these two characters, which I find really, really special.
now, what time of year did you film this?
We shot this movie in September. Yeah, in September. So it wasn't quite
Ah, okay.
winter yet. And it wasn't quite, it was like chilly enough, but not, it was
Hmm.
sometimes these movies are shot in the summertime and you're wearing like
Yeah.
all
Oh,
these
yeah.
outfits and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just like dying of heat.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Oh,
this was
yeah.
actually the perfect time of year, especially in Buffalo, New York. But I gotta say, it
Hmm.
was my first time there, especially shooting, and it was such a great crew, and the city is so beautiful, and Buffalo plays as New York City. And so I
Hmm.
thought that was really cool. And it really does look like New York City. There's something really special. Like Buffalo's kind of like a mini New York, and the architecture. And so yeah, it's quite cool that this movie takes place in New York City, because a lot of times it's like a girl going back to her small town, and
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and they do go visit their family. Madison, my character Madison, is from New Jersey, and so they go visit her family in New Jersey, which is cool because my husband in real life is actually from New Jersey. So I felt like I kind of already had a connection to Jersey, and yeah, it was
Now,
really cool.
now, let me guess. You play a photographer, right? Because you play a photographer in all your movies, right?
Not in this one, Chad. Not in this.
Not in this one.
No, we work. So Sebastian, played by Jalone, and myself, we work at the Garland Hotel, which is a very
Hmm.
famous hotel in New York. And
Oh,
our hotel is receiving
okay.
the royal family for the first time. They're going to come for the royal gala at our hotel, and so the hotel is just vibrant and getting excited to
Ah,
receive them. And the official singer
okay.
for the gala has backed out last minute. And so Sebastian's
Ah,
character helps Madison find her voice again after a multitude of bad experiences. She decides she can't sing in public anymore. And so he kind of helps her find her way back to the stage. And yeah, it's a really cute, and it's funny. And our incredible director Anthony Ferrente, who was the director of the famous Sharknado movies.
uh-huh.
So he's such a great guy, such a talented director. And yeah, just the three of us, we just had just a blast. And Jeff, our cinematographer. And yeah, anyway, overall it was a great experience, and I think people are going to really like it.
No, okay. Okay. Now, so is it his family, the royal family, that's coming to visit the hotel?
That's right. Yeah. But
Okay. But
nobody
in the
knows that.
synopsis,
Nobody knows that,
nobody knows
Chad.
it, right? Nobody knows it. But on the
Don't
synopsis of the
say.
Great American Family's website, it says you're going to visit your family in New Jersey. Is that what's going on too?
Yeah, so that also happens.
Oh, okay.
So my family, the Littles,
Hmm.
they figure out that he might be the Prince Andreas Magnus. Um,
Oh,
but I tell them that he's not the prince. So then, just to
I gotcha.
appease them, he decides to. We both decide to go along with it, and then madness ensues.
Now, did you and Jalone, did you just meet on set the first day on set?
No, because we were both from out of town, we met prior to shooting. So we met in Buffalo. We got there a couple days
Okay.
beforehand to do, pre-production stuff, costume fittings, read-throughs, etc. And so actually the first day I got into town, I was having dinner and he texted me, he's like, "Hey, like, I'm not sure if you're in town." I was like, "Yeah, I just got in today." And so he came to meet me and we had a really great, just kind of like getting to know each other time. And he's just such a down to earth, great man who, is married and has two adorable kids. And so we were just talking about life and getting to know each other. And it's really nice when you get to work with an actor who, wants to put everything at ease and get into the work and talk about the work and, rehearse lines together. And we did that a lot. So that was really helpful for the both of us.
Yeah. Now, how about the supporting cast? Are there any familiar faces in this that people will recognize?
Well, I don't know. They probably will. I definitely recognize someone. So, the woman who plays my mom, Nancy Harding, who is such a character. She's so fun in this role. So she and I did a commercial together. Uh, gosh, I'm gonna say like 3.5 years ago or something. And I remember the hair and makeup team was telling me like, "Oh, Nancy, the woman who plays your mom, like you guys have worked together before." And I was like, "Have we?" Like, I don't know. And so I looked her up and I was like, "I don't remember." And then when I met her, she's like, "Sydney, remember we worked together?" And I was like, "What, did we?" And she's like, "Yeah, we did a Serve Pro commercial together like a
What
couple years ago."
commercial?
And I was like, "Oh my goodness." It's like blast from the past. And I couldn't believe it. She was so sweet. I felt so bad that I didn't remember, but it was like one of those things where I just like forgot I ever did it kind of thing.
Mm.
And
Oh,
so we got along really well. And yeah, she was awesome. But everyone in, especially the members of my family, um, they are such unique characters. And there's specifically a scene at the beginning of the movie where they're kind of like questioning who Sebastian really is, and they're all around on the couch and they're asking questions and they think we're falling in love and we're like, "No, no." Anyway, it's so funny. It's probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. And like the dynamic we all have together is like no other.
now you mentioned singing before. I was going to ask you if you sang in this movie because here's a picture of you standing in front of a mic and a piano. So you do sing, huh?
I do. Listen, I've never sang in anything I've ever done before on screen. So this is quite a big deal for me. It was really intimidating. I was super nervous. Singing is like one of those things it's like one of my favorite things to do, but I don't really do it in front of people because I find it such an intimate experience, and it's so
Yeah.
um, heart opening, and so, but I did it, in theater school, and I did it in plays, but I haven't done it in a really long time, like publicly, other than, maybe at karaoke at like my birthday, but not seriously. And so this was something that I had to seriously sing. And so I was jokingly
Yeah.
telling my husband, like 3 weeks ago, and I was in the studio doing some ADR work, and I had to, because of, sound and stuff, we did some singing in the studio. And I was like, "Hey, babe, I'm basically a recording artist now. I just laid down my tracks." So it was pretty cool. So maybe I'll have a Spotify account soon. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's neat. Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
did you work with a voice coach at all to get ready for this?
I didn't officially, like, I did my own, vocal things, and
Okay.
from, my past learning. But
Uh,
yeah, I guess
mhm.
I was kind of just sort of winging it, I guess.
Nah, that's great. That's great. All right,
But
I grabbed some
I did work.
screenshots from what?
Yes. No, I was just saying I did work.
What were you gonna
It
say?
was the most, I said I worked really hard show the singing as much honesty and truth and to do a good job. So I'm excited for people to see.
No, okay. Now I grabbed some screenshots here. There you are in the top left, getting ready for the gala.
Yeah.
And I have to ask about this picture. I have to ask about this picture in the bottom left. Those are the most
Yeah.
decorations I've ever seen. It looks like an elf threw up in that room there. What's going on there?
So this is an actual Christmas shop that's open all year round in Buffalo, New York. And it is absolutely incredible. And I walked in there and I was like almost like dizzy from like how much Christmas stuff there was in there. It was so incredible. And like that was the one day where the set decorators were actually able to like have a break because they didn't really need to do anything. Which is amazing. But I definitely did a little bit of Christmas decoration shopping when I was there. I couldn't help it. They had so many beautiful things that I bought a couple knickknacks while we were there.
Oh, that's cool. Now you mentioned that the scene you had the most fun shooting was with your on-screen family, right?
Yeah, they were just a joy to work with. And I mean, obviously all my scenes with Jalone. Actually, the one you see at the bottom left is probably one of my favorite scenes, where it's kind of the will they, won't they scene. And
Oh, yeah.
then my dad comes and ruins the moment, of course. And but yeah, it was a really
Oh no,
sweet
is that no, is that the almost kiss scene?
It's an almost kiss scene, yes.
Ah, okay. Every movie has to have one.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You gotta have it. Yep.
Now you mentioned working with the director. Were you able to improvise at all, or did you stick to the script for this one?
Yeah, we definitely were able to improv. Anthony is he wrote part of the script as well, so he was certainly very happy to collaborate and typically if you have a director that's open to improv, which Anthony was, you'll do one take where it's like true to the script, and then a few times where maybe I'll do a funny face or add on a little thing or two during the scene, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I love that. Let's do more of that." And like we kind of found our way through it. And I think this movie definitely has a lot more comedic parts than a lot of other movies, which I love. And and Anthony is such a comedic guy that he like loved bringing that aspect of the movie out too. So I think that the comedy part was a little bit more on the improv side.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like to see the humor in these movies. Now,
Oh yeah.
Jalone there, what's he wearing? He looks like he's dressed as a toy soldier there. What's that for? Is that for the gala?
Well, that's his fake Prince costume for my family. So that's
oh, I see.
a costume
I got it. I got it.
that
I
we
got
got
it.
him wearing. So it's I don't think it's
I
supposed
got
to
it.
be
Okay.
very authentic is the thing. Yeah.
I got it. And I'm guessing this is a total guess. It looks like you're in a limo there. Are you
Yeah.
riding in a limo with your family in Jersey? Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
I mean, you got to drive in style, right?
Well, Dara and I are both looking forward to seeing this movie.
Yes. Oh my
You know
gosh, I
Dara from
love.
the Dear Hallmark podcast.
Oh, trust me, I know Dara, and I love that you guys do this together. I think it's so fun. You guys are so hilarious together, like the perfect match. And yeah, I'll never forget, Chad, the first time I met you, which was at
What?
Christmas Con last year, and you were
Mm-hmm.
wearing the most
Mm-hmm.
epic costumes. Uh, like Chad was wearing literal two-piece suits, like we're like a Christmas taco. So imagine this scene down here at the bottom left, but on someone's suit. That's what Chad was wearing.
That's what I was wearing. Yes, I know.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I have to ask about this. You're involved with
Yay!
Christmas is Not Canceled with Jen Lilly. So someone won a breakfast with you in Arizona, right?
They did. So yeah, I mean, Jen Lilly started Christmas is Not Canceled in 2020, and I just thought it was such an
Mm-hmm.
incredible cause. And Jen, if anyone knows Jen, they know that she is like constantly doing things to help children in foster care, children in need of any kind. And I'm all about helping children and animals. Like, that's my thing. I love it. I think it's so important to do that. And so, I'm not officially part of Christmas is Not Canceled, but I feel like I try to put the word out as much as possible because I think it's such an incredible opportunity for people to do great things and also get
Mm-hmm.
like incredible prizes such as this one. And so when
Mm-hmm.
Jen reached out, she's like, "Hey, would you be willing to go to Sedona and have lunch with someone?" I was like, "Absolutely. Like, are you kidding me?" So it all worked out. And so I'm going to get to meet this person in the new year, and I'm super excited. And I think it's going to be loads of fun. And yeah, I'm happy to have been a part of it.
So did they already announce who won that? Do you know who you're having breakfast with?
Yes, I do. I do know.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
look her
Okay.
name up because because I'm an awful person, I can't remember.
Well, you don't have to look
I
it up.
will
That's okay. I was just wondering.
I will say that I didn't actually get like an official notice about it, and she actually reached out to me saying that she won
Oh.
the prize, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, you did!" I was like, "This is so exciting." So, oh yeah, her name is, well, I don't know. Well, I don't want to share it just in case maybe she doesn't want me to. But
That's okay.
either way,
That's okay. Yeah, yeah. That's okay.
um,
That's okay. You don't have
but
to. That's okay.
either way, I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be flying to Arizona. Are you going to take your
I
camera so
know.
you can take pictures of waterfalls?
Oh, waterfalls, you name it. I'm your gal. Heyo. And maybe I'll meet a handsome man along the way.
Yeah, yeah. Now you talked about Christmas Con a few minutes
Yes.
ago here. You're going to be at
Yeah.
the con this weekend, right?
Yeah, so next weekend, yes, this weekend, weekend 9, 10, 11, I will be at Christmas Con in New
Right.
Jersey. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Um, are you going this year?
Yes, I will be there. And I
Yes.
expect you to be wearing that. I expect you to be wearing that elf costume there.
I would love to do that, but I don't that's the outfit I wore in Joy for Christmas. And unfortunately I didn't get to keep it, but it was a really, really good one. Um, I mean, how can you say no to that? But yeah, I'm gonna be at Christmas Con. I'm so
I was
grateful to have been invited and to get to see everyone's faces. I'm probably gonna lose my voice again, but it's so worth it because I just get to talk to so many incredible humans and it's such a give. There's so much love happening at that event. It's like almost like
mhm,
overwhelming how amazing it is.
mhm,
You were there.
mhm. Oh yeah. Elf costume would wear mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see those costumes. Can't wait. Can't wait.
All right. Got a few questions here
Okay.
about your career there. Let me ask you this. Is there someone that you've worked with that you would love to work with again?
Ooh, I would love to work with a lot of people again, but I would really love to work with Paul Campbell again. I think doing a Hallmark movie
Oh.
with him would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to work with my friend Sarah again. That would be like the best. Um, yeah, I don't know. It would be really cool to do actually a movie with like a bunch of the lead women in these movies come together, kind of like what they
Yeah.
did with the Wedding Veil or
Mm-hmm.
something. Like that would be a really
Yeah.
special experience to do, kind of like what Aaron and I did. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. There's so many incredible people I've worked with before that I would love to work with again.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. Obviously, Christy,
Now,
Christy, director I've worked with many times. I'd love to work with her again as well.
mhm. Now, is there someone that you've worked with that you never want to work with ever again? Don't answer that.
Chad, you troublemaker, you. I will say yes to that answer, and no, I'm not going to share.
Now, is there a role in your career that you auditioned for that you were really bummed that you didn't book?
Yes, very, very bummed. I will not name the show, but I did go years and years ago. I went down to, before I lived in LA, I went down to Los Angeles and screen tested for a really big network show. And I did my screen test in front of the studio and then in front of the network. And I was the only person who went on to network out of the group of girls that had done the audition. And it it had gone so incredibly well. You know, the director was a huge fan of mine, and the producers and everyone was. And it ended up going to a very famous person's daughter, and it
Oh,
was a huge heartbreak. It was, yeah, that one
yeah,
actually took me a long time to get over, to be honest. But like everything else in
yeah.
life, hard times prove to be the opportunities where you learn the most about yourself and get to grow. And
Hmm.
you know, it was definitely a hard time, but it would have been fun. But here we are, and now I'm talking to you,
Yeah,
Chad. And I wouldn't rather
yeah.
be anywhere else.
Now, how about in the future? Do you have any interest in doing any writing or directing?
I do.
Do
I've
you?
actually been writing. I have a writing partner that I've been writing with, and we
Oh,
have been in the works for potentially, fingers crossed, hopefully doing something next year. So yeah, it's all kind of in the works, but directing is definitely something I want to do, and producing for sure. As well as
oh, okay,
acting. And yeah, so I'm pretty excited about the
okay,
process. It's all kind of new, but it's definitely happening as we speak. I just don't really like to talk about things until they become,
okay.
like
All right,
one deal.
all
It's
right.
definitely in
All
the,
right. You mentioned
yeah.
next. You mentioned next. Okay. You mentioned next year. Are there any future projects out?
Other than this potential thing I'm talking about at this moment, no, but things always happen. They always come up. And yeah, I'm excited for what 2023 has to offer. I know it's
Mhm.
going to be amazing.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. All right. Here's some questions. Let's do some Christmas questions. Some fun Christmas questions here.
Love it. Love it. Let's
What is
go.
your favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, my favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story for sure. And I'm very
Ah,
excited. And I'm very excited to see the second one that just came out. But I haven't watched
yeah.
it yet because
Uh-huh.
it's something I'm going to have to do with my whole family at Christmas time. So I'm very excited to see the
Mhm.
sequel. But yeah, Christmas Story. And of course, I love the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray. That's a real good
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
I watched that one on the plane like a week ago. Man, it still makes me laugh out loud. Yeah, I love Bill Murray in everything.
Yeah. What is your favorite Christmas cookie?
Ooh, shortbread, hands down, that's the winner. Shortbread,
Shortbread.
shortbread. Yes.
You know that was my dad's favorite too. Yeah.
Oh, I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
So good.
How about what's your favorite Christmas candy?
I'm not a big sweets person, hence the
No,
shortbread, I guess. But I guess I guess like a candy cane. I don't know. I don't even really know Christmas candy that well, I
candy
guess.
cane.
Candy cane, I mean, it's a classic. You can't go
Okay.
wrong.
No Reese's trees for you.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's like an all year round kind of thing.
Yeah. But at Christmas time, they're shaped like Christmas trees.
Oh, are they? Oh, I've never had
Yeah.
one. I have one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite,
Yeah.
Chad?
Yeah.
Favorite?
That's my favorite. Yeah. 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 All right.
Okay.
Would you rather trim a tree or wrap gifts?
Oh, wrap gifts for sure. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
wrap gifts.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather wrap gifts or bake cookies?
If someone is helping me bake, because I am not a baker, so it'll probably taste awful and not work out. But if someone is the chef and I'm the sous chef, then definitely baking cookies. But otherwise, if I'm alone, I'm definitely doing presents. Yeah, that's a done
Now,
deal.
where are you spending the holidays?
So after Christmas con, I'm going to be spending time. So my husband's family is actually from New Jersey, as I mentioned before. So we're going to be spending
Mhm.
some time with them right after Christmas con, and then we're going to go to Montreal, which is where I'm from, and spend time with my
Mhm.
family and yeah, I'm excited. And Suze is going to come along for the ride. She's going to be with us the whole
Oh.
holiday season, and she's going to be taking
Mhm.
the plane with us and everything. So that's always pretty cute.
Suze, that's your dog, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's my dog. Yeah, I know. I talk
What
about her like a human, but
I know. What kind of dog is she?
she is a Chihuahua mix. So she's about 11 pounds, and she's just the light of my life. She's just the best, and she's sweet, and she loves everyone. And if you were to meet her in the street, she'd probably lick your ankles. That's like the weird thing that she does. Yeah.
Well, Crown Prince of Christmas premieres this Saturday, December 10th at 8 o'clock Eastern on Great American Family. Cindy, thank you so much for being here. It's always fun talking with you.
Thank you. It's so nice to talk to you too, Chad. Congrats on doing this podcast. And I genuinely enjoyed it, and I was very impressed with all your research that you did with all of those great photos. I was genuinely impressed and grateful for that. And then also, I can't wait to listen to you and Dara talk about the movie. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We plan on recapping it. Now,
Yay!
tell people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, so on Instagram and Twitter, I am at Cindy_Busby. I also have a fan page on Facebook. And yeah, but most of the time you can find me on Instagram. That's the thing I'm the most active with.
Okay. Now, this movie premieres during Christmas Con. Are you gonna try to watch live tweet it at all?
I'm definitely going to try to live tweet for sure. And I will do my very best to be as present as I can for everyone. But yeah, it will be during Christmas con, so I will
Yeah.
be in the mayhem, but it's going to be great, and it's going to be a very celebratory weekend.
Yeah, I think this will be the first Great American Family movie that I won't be able to watch live because I'll be at the con.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
well,
won't be able to see it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I will
Okay,
definitely record it. Yeah.
perfect. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks again, Cindy, for being here. And thank you for being here, chatters. And until next time, you keep the faith, keep smiling, keep your friends close, and keep your great American family closer.
Thank you.